welcome. Episode 4, we're going to chat about family today. That's going to be a little bit tough for some of us. Maybe Wes too. But nevertheless, we're going to do it. If you haven't watched the previous episode, Freedom, I would highly suggest you go back and watch it and then come back.
Because that's step one.
It ties in.
Yeah. It's like Star Wars. You gotta watch them all.
No, you're right. You got to go to the beginning. And if you're listening to this podcast, we don't run ads here. It's free to you, but it ain't free to make. So I do have a huge ask of you. Please share this with somebody. Post it on social media. Tag us at Kosmo Unfiltered. We would greatly appreciate it. Pass the love on. Tag somebody that needs to hear it. So, my childhood. This is where family started for me.
You're just going right in.
Yeah, just dive right in.
So I remember the moment
Band-Aid,
that I was
rip
born.
it off. Just rip it off. The funny thing is as we grow up, we tend to think that everyone sees life through the filters that we have built, and that is couldn't be anything further from the truth. I almost need a shot of whiskey to do this episode, but that's okay. Golly, I had a crazy childhood, man. Crazy childhood. Obviously, being burned, but my dad didn't come back around until I was probably 10, 12, 13, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
This is the man that I call my dad. You'll find out here in a minute. He's my father. He's my dad, but he's not my father. Does that make sense?
Yep. I follow.
Yeah. And that's okay.
There's probably a lot of folks listening. Same story.
Oh, yeah. And the crazy thing is I didn't learn this until, about a year ago?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not even 2.
Not even 2 years ago. It was a year and a half. It was before COVID, but right before COVID.
That's a crazy story.
No, we had a crazy, crazy childhood. We ran the streets. We could run the streets till midnight.
We talk about El Reno, and a lot of people will never see it, but when you do, you understand.
Yeah, it's like the whole town is like the hood, but everybody. It's just how we grew up.
Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to go one street over.
You wasn't?
Oh no, I did one time, and I got in massive trouble.
I went one town over. I rode my RM80 to Okarche once, 15 miles away.
Oh my gosh! Did you get there on one tank?
Yeah.
How about it?
That's a long ride on a 2-stroke, though.
Yes, it is.
It's just horrible. But yeah, when my dad came back later in life, it was weird because by then we just, my mom raised us. At the time, there was four kids, and we ran the show.
She's working, right?
No. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. That's what we call it. Is that short for welfare? We were on welfare. Yeah. We were really poor. You've seen my childhood house.
Yeah, been down there.
Was it like 600, 700 square feet?
Nothing. Yeah, real small.
Yeah, and 5 of us living in there.
That's a lot. One bathroom.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, man, we are shocked that you kids are alive. And I'm like, man, I know, me too. I'm shocked we're alive.
Know what I know now.
But no, we ran we ran the streets nonstop. I did have a grandmother. That was the only grandparent I ever knew.
Yeah.
One grandmother. And she was a classy lady.
All the good ones are.
No, you're right. She was a good lady, man. She took care of us. She loved us. That's, I never really felt love from my mother or my dad. And I just didn't.
Sure.
We that's not what we did. But I did from my grandmother and my wife. And that's, it goes back to the last episode, the episode before, when I say hurt people. I didn't realize that I was hurt. Therefore, I didn't realize that I was hurting people.
Sure.
And, man, if I could go back and do it over, I would. And this all came to light when I found out my dad wasn't my dad. And just for those of you that don't understand what that button or that little click this box on 23andMe if you don't want to know means, go ahead and click that box. I didn't, and I found out on accident. My sister called me. Did I ever tell you that story?
Dude, I walked in your office right after you found out.
Yeah.
That was when we were sitting right over here, and I walked in. I was like, "Hey man, I asked you a question about something," and you were like, "Man,
Yeah.
you got a second?" And you're like, "I just found out something crazy," and I'm thinking, "Oh no, like somebody hurt?"
Yeah.
I didn't understand, and I just remember that just blew my mind. I didn't know what to say.
Dude, it's. I mean, you lived 40. I was 47 at the time. You lived 47 years, and then you get that dropped in your lap. Wow.
I remember you came around. It was a couple days later. You were like, "Man, I decided it doesn't change anything for me. Knowing or not knowing, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I keep living my life just the same."
That was on a Tuesday. I found out, and I mentally I went, okay, well, I got to get my mindset right. I got to get right. Now, I have two choices. I can choose to live from Tuesday going forward with the information that I do know, or I could choose to rewind to Monday and go, hey, this doesn't change a damn thing. This is something the devil's just trying to put in front of me to deter me, distract me, to get me off course. And I think I'm going to go back to Monday, and I'm going to live from Monday. And it's not going to distract me. It doesn't change a thing.
Yep.
Do you realize the odds of being born? The odds, the sheer odds. It's mind-boggling. Like literally, you have a better chance of winning the lottery multiple times than you do being born. It's like 1 in 400 trillion.
So you're already pretty lucky to make it here.
And I just kind of thought, you know what? It doesn't make a shit how I got here. I'm here, and I'm going to make the most of it. I got into the party. So I'm here. I got into the party, and they got free beer. But, one of the things that I've learned, unfortunately, after 2 of my children are out of the house is how it affected me being a parent to them. And I wasn't the best, I just, that's just calling a spade a spade. Hindsight's always 20/20. Yeah. We didn't hit our kids or anything like that. We had really well-behaved kids. Honestly, we never had to. They were really well-behaved kids. But I realized that I probably didn't love them enough the way that they needed to be loved. And, for that, I'll forever be sorry, Yeah. I can't fix it. The only thing I can do is try to make it better now. But, this is just part of my story. I'm not saying it's a great story, but it is a true story. It is what happened. And
I think as men, it gets hard because we walk around thinking like, well, I'm providing, I'm doing this, I've got my head in
I'm checking
this,
the boxes.
I'm taking the trash out. Like that trash doesn't take itself out. Like we think that is a way of showing love. It is.
It is.
We do it, we do it. That responsibility, like we talked about, it carries you. You know what to do, but there's something about those kids, man. They have their way of like.
Well, the funny story is I remember asking my dad. I was probably about 18, and I didn't realize this. After I heard he wasn't my dad, like it made all the sense in the world to me. And like my dad really does love me. I know that. But I asked him one time, I said, how come you've never told me you love me? And he just looked at me, and he had nothing.
He didn't know what to say.
He had nothing. And if I only, they say you don't love somebody else's kid the way you love your own.
Sure.
I don't know if I believe that. But if that is, I thought, if that's what happened to me, shit, man, I probably just did that to my 2. And how horrible. Like I didn't know. I didn't know if I was, if my dad was unknowingly doing it to me, am I unknowingly doing it to my wife's 2 children? And that's what hit home for me. Yeah. And how dare that I ask somebody for something that I'm not doing myself.
That's big.
Yeah, it's huge. That was a huge mind shift in me. And to my kids, all of them, man, if that's the way I ever made you feel, I'm deeply sorry. So family means a lot to me. what really brought this to light is when I met my wife and I first met her family. We went home or to her home for Easter, and it's crazy. It was crazy. You know, it's kind of like,
You know what to do with your hands?
I don't know what to do. Like, you people like each other, and you guys aren't fighting and screaming, and, you know, there's a mother and a father, and, like, you guys have known each other. And
y'all are a unit.
Yeah, this is what a unit means, you know? It was crazy. And, yeah, we've had our ups and downs. I think everybody does in life. But I tell you what, I wouldn't trade them for anything. My mother and father-in-law, my wife's parents have been married and divorced. And both sets of parents, they're phenomenal people, you know? Yep. Absolutely phenomenal. Wouldn't trade them for the world. And I'm so thankful that they gave me a peek into this is how it could be. Because then I could take that and I built on that.
Yeah.
And I've done a horrible job. I'm not going to candy coat this for anybody. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm here. The only thing I can do is fix what I know going forward and spoil shit out of them grandbabies when they come one day.
And you will.
Oh, I damn sure will.
They'll be like, this man, your kid's going to be like, he's crazy.
Yeah, and I think
he hit his head.
And I don't know if that's just me, if I'm the only person in this world that has come to this epiphany or of, you know, I didn't get it right, but now I am going to get it right.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm kind of on the other end where, like, I have a kid, and I'm watching my parents love my kid. And it's different, but at the same time, like, I see some of the patterns or the behaviors, like, I'm like an observer now. It's like I'm watching them, almost like watching them parent me or what it might have looked like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like different, knowing what I know now. And as an adult, I think it's like, it's not going to be a secret to my kids. Like, he's going to know, like, oh, dad wasn't great in area X, Y, Z. Yeah. And it's unavoidable. It's like,
yeah, no, you're right.
You're like, right. He's gonna, it's just, I tell my wife all the time, we're going to screw him up. It's only a matter of how much. You know, we just got to figure that part out.
Yeah.
But
no, you're right. You're right.
I'm on a different end where, like, he's little. I'm just learning how, like, he needs me to love him.
And there's no book.
No.
There's no book for this shit.
Go to bed every night like, man, I hope I handle that
We
well.
go to high school, and they teach us bullshit that is useless in life outside of reading, writing, and some arithmetic.
Yeah.
Like, there's no life studies. At least not in El Reno in the 1980s.
I don't think they knew much anyway. It's
I probably wouldn't listen to anyway.
That's a limiting belief that we have that someone knows, because they don't.
Yeah.
But
with that being said, what are some family struggles that you've had? Make sure to write them down. You know the routine. Write them down. Take a picture. Tag us on social media, and let's talk about it. So, did I ever tell you probably one of the greatest pieces of advice I've ever received is from a Navy SEAL?
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was in Tennessee in the middle of nowhere. Anybody that knows anything about the Camden Mafia, we're brothers. I'll just say that.
I don't know anything about the Camden Mafia.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, you got to know. If you know about the Camden Mafia in Tennessee, you know we're brothers.
Oh, man.
Brothers and sisters, I should say.
That's probably somebody.
But I was full-fledged Camden Mafia, and one of the guys said to me, he said, do you know what happens right before you die? And I was like, no. You know, you hear all kinds of bullshit. You know, your life flashes before your eye. He goes, yeah. He said, that's what you hear. He said, but that's not what happens at all. He said, your regrets flash before your eyes. Every regret that you've ever had, you will remember right before you die. And that struck me to the core. Because when I heard that, I sat there. I was working for somebody else at the time. And I thought, I will not live my life with regrets. I can go back and fix it. I can go get another job. I can quit. If I just run Cosmos into the ground, I can go get another job. Okay. There. Boom. Excuse removed. And I thought, I'm never going to live my life with regrets. And that was probably one of the greatest pieces of advice I've ever got. So, yeah. No regrets. No regrets, or however they spell
Regrets.
it. No regrets. No regrets. So, yeah, don't live life with regrets. Fix them. Say you're sorry. Mend that relationship. Be the bigger man. Be the bigger woman. Do what you got to do. If you want to jump out of a freaking airplane, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if that's what you got to do,
if you're gonna regret it, by all means,
jump out of a freaking airplane. No regrets. Well, hey, thank you for watching. And hey, don't forget to share this with a friend. And you're not going to want to miss next episode because we talk finances. And we're going to talk about how I took a $500 credit card loan and turned it into one of the top 500 fastest growing companies in the United States.